Hello everyone, welcome back to Flying Solo with Kat, your weekly podcast. Thank you so much for everyone who watched last week's video. I really do appreciate so much the support that I felt, and I'm really excited to keep this going. I am going to kind of do an update here of what the plans are for the podcast and kind of how updates and when videos are going to be up or not. So every Sunday there will be a new podcast, and those podcasts will run about 45 minutes, 30 to 45 minutes. They will be longer, so they're going to be a bit of a deeper talk. Now, podcasts that are uploaded during the week, so I'm thinking more of a Wednesday, Thursday kind of upload time, they're going to be a lot shorter. They're just going to kind of be my thoughts on what I'm thinking. They might be 15 to 20 minutes, or they might be a bit longer, but you can expect one podcast on Wednesday or Thursday and then one on Sunday. So I just want to go ahead and say that, and that's kind of my plan. If I do miss an upload, I will let you guys know on Twitter. Please follow me. I will leave it down in the description. So today's episode is going to be a bit different. I'm going to be talking about basically the state of the Disney theme parks, which is a very important topic to talk about in the state of Disney and its theme parks. Mainly, I'm going to focus on Disneyland. I am an annual pass holder and I go regularly, so I'm very confident in what I know about the parks and what is different, what isn't. And I won't talk much about Disney World. I did just go to Disney World about 2 months ago, so I will say kind of my piece on that going in as a vacationer or traveler and my thoughts on that a bit. I don't know what's going on there specifically, and I don't know if it relates with Disneyland, so I won't go too much into it. I'll be doing a separate video on tips and tricks to help your Disney vacation flow smoothly. What I know as a vacationer, what I know as an annual pass holder, stuff that will help you guys, and I will totally let you know when that video will be out. I'm hoping it will be in the next 2 weeks or so. This video is just going to be about the problems. I'm going to try not to complain too much, and I'm going to say some positive and negatives that I've seen, but it's going to be a bit of complaining. So if you're not here for that, then I'd suggest skipping this video. I have been an annual pass holder for a very, very, very long time, and I'm going to talk about what is quite different from what I've seen back then and to what I've seen now. So without further ado, let's get started. So first, let's start with Genie Plus and where that is right now. When Genie Plus first got announced, I hated the idea, just for what it meant for the theme park, and I still hate it now to this day. The fact that you have to pay to get into a fast pass line that is for a ride. You're not really getting anything out of it except for the experience. And for certain rides, I completely understand, but you can't just pick and choose the ride. You have to pay for the whole day for Genie Plus. And Genie Plus runs, the highest price you can get a Genie Plus at is $27. Basically $30 per person. Now, when this was announced, I was thinking, okay, if you have like your entire party on the app together, you get Genie Plus, $30 for 5 people to get a fast pass the entire day. Not bad at all. I actually think that would be worth it. But the fact that you're having to pay $30 per person is just outrageous. It's from a marketing standpoint, it is maybe the best thing that they could have done, but from a quality of life and just everyone feeling just terrible, yeah, it sucks. It just makes everyone super stressed. Everyone is all worried about the pricing and what that means. If they don't get a fast pass for their certain ride, there's no way they're going to be able to ride it unless they wait 2.5 hours. Now you might think, okay, whatever, you have to wait. People are just lazy now. No, I'll give you an example. So I wanted to get Lightning Lane for Indiana Jones. It was shut down like the entire day until about 8 o'clock, and the wait time was 30 minutes, so I was like, hey, let's do it. And I'm waiting, and basically, well, it wasn't 8 o'clock because I waited 2.5 hours. Long story short, I waited 2.5 hours and they kept saying, like, oh, it's going to be up in like 10 minutes or so. And basically, I wasn't able to get the Genie Plus because it was blocked the entire day and people were trying to get a Genie Plus even when it was down. So the Genie Plus was like backed up all the way. And I waited 2.5 hours and I finally had to say, I'm like, look, I can't do this because I have to get to the fireworks show. Like that was the whole, reason I was there. And it was really just like, and they were kind of weird about it too. They were like, well, you realize like if you get out of line like that, you can't join back in. It's like, yes, I realize that I can't waste any more of my time while I could be doing other things. And I think that's where it's come to an issue that Genie Plus is so sought out for, because if you wait in the regular line, you don't know how long you're going to be waiting and you're going to be wasting your time. If I pay for a full day, I want to do as much as I can, right? And that's for everyone. And if that's why everyone does lightning lanes and everyone does Genie Plus, because they can get the most done and get more done what they actually paid for compared to waiting in 2-hour lines per ride. And there's not that many hours in the day for Disneyland, and you just end up wasting your time in lines and all of that, and it's really, really sad. So people are almost anxiety induced and being forced to use Genie Plus. And honestly, that's not what Disneyland's all about. It's never been about that. And I think that's what a lot of people are missing now. And Genie Plus just, I get it. I really do get it. They really thought that this was going to help the crowds and everything, but how it's being handled, it's not. It's not. The fact that a ride can break down and yet people can still get Genie Plus Fast Passes for it, so then those Genie Plus Fast Passes build up and build up and build up to where at the end of the day, they just don't offer them anymore. It's absolutely crazy, and the quality control is just through the roof on it. And it's just really sad to see that's what everyone's focused on. Thankfully, as an annual pass holder for Disneyland, I don't necessarily have to worry about, oh, I have to do this, oh, I have to do that. I can really take a chill pill. But when I went to Walt Disney World, I almost was having anxiety over hey, we have to hit this, we have to hit that, and all of that. So I can only imagine what regular, what non-casual people go through trying to ride their favorite ride and trying to go even to Disneyland. I just feel like that would just be so anxiety inducing, and it's not for everyone. And that's really sad, because Disneyland should be for everyone and it should be accessible to everyone, and yet it isn't. I get it. They have to make money. But the fact that this is a new thing that's happened and it wasn't like this was at the start of the park, now I'm just kind of I think it's just pissing everyone off. And really, it's just such a problem, and just every time I think about it, it just makes me really, really mad. So those are my thoughts on Genie Plus. Really, I don't know the huge scope of it and what Disney's trying to do to make it better. I know that in 2024, they're going to make it to where you can do your reservations before you actually arrive at the park. So you could do it a day or two before, which I think is great, unless basically, let's say I want to get a lightning lane. I want to do Genie Plus, I want to do lightning lane. I'll do that 2 days before, and I'll get, my lightning lanes and all that. Then when I go, I'm able to use those lightning lanes and nothing will be wrong. Now, the way I see this becoming an issue is if they still let people do lightning lanes on that day. So I'm thinking you just have lightning lanes be you have to do it before your actual trip, and that's it. And it'd be a great way to plan, because when they marketed Genie Plus, they said, oh, it's a great way to plan, right? It's a great way to plan your day. No, it really sucks at planning your day, actually. To me, I don't even use it. I always tell people, if you're going to get Genie Plus, get it. And then, of course, plan around your Genie Plus. But if you're not doing that, just don't pay attention to Genie Plus. Don't do it. do what you want to do and then work your way around that. Don't have Genie Plus plan your day. It honestly sucks. I've never liked it. And it's just, oh, it's so bad. It's just, I hate it. I really do. I do not like it. And just no one has a good time. And it's anxiety inducing. And yeah, that's all I say. That's all I'll say on Genie Plus. And I hope that in 2024, with the new reservations, it will help. I don't think they will do that, though, because I think they will want to get more money out of it, which is such a Disney thing. And I think that it's going to not be good for the park in and of itself. And rides are going to start running down. Speaking of rides running down, that leads us to our next topic, which is ride malfunction and just rides not being open. I checked about an hour ago before I recorded this if any rides were down at Disneyland, because, you know, I wanted to see if this was a section that I even wanted to talk about. Two rides were down. And it wasn't just one of, like, the kiddie rides and, like, rides you can kind of forget about. No, it was Space Mountain and Matterhorn. One of the two biggest rides at Disneyland, arguably two of the best rides at Disneyland. People go to Disneyland for those rides, mostly. And they were down. And it didn't give me any time that they would be back up. It just said, nope, temporarily down. And the fact is that that's been happening more and more often. And basically every day you can check the app and one or two rides will be down. And that is not counting Rise of the Resistance. I'll get into that a bit. And the entire quality control of these rides has just gone down exponentially. And every time that I've gone, they've been down. Cast members have not been able to tell me when it will be back open, or if they do tell me when it will be up and running, it's normally not that time that they give me. And I'm sorry, I plan my day around trying to get that into a ride. So if I'm trying to do things before, let's say my callback time is 12 o'clock, right, and the ride's still not up by 3 o'clock, you know, what am I going to do, right? So it just seems like there's no communication and people just don't know what's wrong, right? Going into Rise of the Resistance, that ride breaks down so many times. I love the ride so much, and I've even joked about it on Twitter a bit. And it's either the animatronics, the audio, the lighting. Oh my gosh, it's a mess. And before, that wasn't really an issue. I mean, of course rides break down. I completely understand that. But now it's just like a little too often. It's, you know, one to two rides. And like, that's crazy. I'm sorry. I've never seen really that happen. There's always been at least a ride down. But normally it's for refurbishment. You know, getting the ride ready, all of that. And the fact that it just seems to be happening more often is crazy to me. And honestly, a bit concerning. I've heard a lot of rumors. Now, of course, these are rumors. I have not heard that this is official or not. But one of the rumors that I've heard is that it's cast members. And that cast members cannot accommodate the hundreds of people that are trying to get onto these rides, and they don't have enough switch time to switch out cast members, that they temporarily stop the ride to give the cast members time to wrangle in the people. And honestly, that sounds most likely of what's happening, compared to the other theory of the rides are they can't accommodate the amount of people. And they are breaking down way too easily, and Disney is postponing their maintenance dates because of the influx of people and the reservations that people are making, and they're too scared to stop maintenance and to do all that. And I just want to say here, I am not in any way blaming cast members. Cast members are so great. If you ever go to Disneyland or even just any of the parks, just please tell them thank you, and like, just, you know, give them a little handshake, because they're out there in the trenches doing the best that they can to give you the best experience you can at Disneyland. They deal with so much. They really do. I'm out here for cast members. They deserve so much more. So in no way I am blaming cast members for the ride malfunctions and the lines being stopped and the rides being stopped. I'm just saying that that is a possibility, and the cast members just can't, cope with the amount of people. And honestly, I wouldn't be able to cope either, because it is crazy for the wait times as well. I just checked as well, 95 minutes for Indiana Jones. 95 minutes. I've never seen that ride past 60 minutes. Never in my life. So, I mean, it probably has, but like when I've seen it, I've never seen it go past 60. And of course, it could be to account the new movie. That is completely valid. They do have a lot of new merchandise. I will talk about that in a later video, but that's crazy. And they only have like few cast members per ride. So to even accommodate that amount of people is probably so hard on them. So that's what I'm kind of leaning towards. Like I said before, in no way blaming the cast members, but I do think Disney needs to help them, right? And helping them is not by shutting down your rides for 2 to 3 hours. It's not. That's not going to help anyone. That's going to make everyone more angry with themselves and the cast members, which then makes the cast members angry at Disney, and it's a vicious cycle, and Disney just doesn't do anything about it. So that's been the big thing. I've been seeing a lot of that on social media, which is not a good look for Disney. And the fact that I'm hearing rumors that are the same rumors and they're not all different is very, very concerning as well. Because, of course, people don't publish articles on Disney as much as they should because of the Disney Mickey snipers, out there to kill you. But there's a major problem at Disney, and I don't know what they can do to fix it. I don't even know. I don't have suggestions of what they could do to fix it. I really don't. I don't know the inner workings of the park. So I only hope that they can get it resolved and everything will be okay. Please. And just, please, gosh. It's like, I wish I did have like the inside scoop, but I also know there's so much more to it than probably stuff that I'm saying now. But, you always just want to know, right? You want to know what's going on with your child, right? So I do hope that they address it, that they get everything figured out, and that it's not anything serious, that really the park isn't being, run down and the amount of people is just crazy. I hope that, the cast members get their help that they need and everyone is all good. So that's all I'll say about ride malfunction. There's not much more I can say, basically what I've heard. But I do hope that if you do go to Disneyland or Disney World, I don't know about Disney World, that's also another thing. I don't know how their rides are doing. When I went, most rides were up, so I really didn't have an issue. But if you do go to Disneyland, I do hope that all the rides are working, that you want to go on, and that the wait times are not as hectic as the ones I'm looking at right now. So, on to that. I want to talk about a little bit of a lighter subject, and that's going to be the feel of the park and why I love Disneyland. Now, has the feel of the park changed? Absolutely. For good, for bad, that's ultimately up to you. For me, I think it's changed for the better. When I go into Disneyland, I feel this sense of community, this sense of just childhood endearment that I want to feel at a Disneyland park. And I still feel that to this day, even with Genie Plus, even with the ride malfunction. All of that just gets washed away when walking down Main Street. And that's what's always been special to me. As a Disney adult, I can confidently say that Disneyland, no matter what age, you will always have a great time. And I think people have started to kind of come to terms with that. And I know we all love to hate on Disney. Trust me, I do it way more than I should. But they really have created something special and something that is hardly replicated in any other theme park that I have been to. I've been to a decent amount, and I've always come back to Disney. I've always come back to Disneyland because it just feels special. It feels like they know how to make that special, and I love it. I love it so much. And I just feel like a kid, running around doing rides and everything. And it's fun. It's escapism in a way. You're escaping from the real world to this distant, place that is Disneyland. And I think they've really kept the feel even while the world is moving on. Now, I will say that people have, people are people. Recently in the years, a lot of people have been very mean for me personally as well, which is quite odd. People are just at their wits' end, I think, at Disneyland, and I think a lot of the anxiety and drama that comes with all that I mentioned adds on to that. But even with that, Disneyland still has this feel of community, still has this feel of joy and wonder. And I can just spend a whole day there and never, I mean, I'll definitely feel tired, but never feel tired in the sense of, it's, I've been here before. This is what I'm doing again. It just, you always kind of see something new. And that's either with the people, that's with the cast members, that's with just Disneyland in general. They're always adding, and especially with California Adventure as well. They're always adding in new things, adding in new characters. They're making it as special as it can be. And as someone who loves Disneyland and has been there lots of times, I can confidently say that the feel of the park has not changed much. And it's changed, if any, for the better. And I love it. I just completely adore it. And I do have my complaints. Clearly, you all heard. I do have my complaints, but it is, hate to say it, one of the most magical places on earth. And it changes something within you experiencing that, and especially when you experience it with other people. That's, I think, the most special thing that can happen to you. If, many of you who do go to the Disney parks, you love seeing people's reactions to things that you know and things that you love. And it gives you a joy in and of itself. And that's why I love it. I love that it gives joy to other people, to kids, to have that place against reality, to have that escapism. And it's just a beautiful thing. I know I was a little sappy, but really, I don't have anything bad to say about the feel of the park. And I will always come back to it. I will always come back because that's just how it feels. It's the most magical place on earth. So that's all I'll say on that, basically, and how I feel on that. But if you have any chance to go to Disneyland, I would very much say do it. Just do it, especially if you have children. I will say it's worth it. I get it. It's expensive. It's really, really expensive. So I would wait a couple years, right? Start saving up now, and 3 or 4 years, make sure you're comfortable with it too. I see a lot of people travel to where they're not comfortable with Disneyland, not comfortable with the idea, or comfortable financially. Don't rush. I promise it will be there. Don't know about Walt Disney World, but I promise Disneyland will be there. Don't rush it, but also I do think it is life-changing, and especially if you have children, I think it's a great investment for them, and you'll give them memories they will never ever forget. So with that being said, I think that's going to end for this episode, but thank you all so much for the support. Oh my gosh. I really didn't think last episode was going to do great. I thought it was, going to get a couple of views, but the fact that, we passed 10 views, which I know does not sound a lot, is crazy to me. And I just want to thank you all so much for the community and you all supporting me. I promise that I'm really going to try to keep the uploads coming while also doing writing and all that other stuff that you can find on my Twitter, link in the description. And yeah, so thank you all so much for listening, and I will see you guys on Sunday.